All right, welcome everybody to another exciting episode of Acronymic Adventures, the Guild campaign. I am your host, DM Chaos, and with us we have our lovely group of adventurers here. Whole group's back together this week. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If this is not your first time joining us, welcome back. You can catch up on all of our previous episodes on Castles and or on YouTube under Castles and Calamities. You can also catch up on our sister campaign, which runs on Tuesdays, which is run by DM Order, or in this game, he goes as Ali. And all of their episodes should also be uploaded on YouTube. Now, normally this is where I would have us do a recap, but we're not going to do that today because we are going to actually do that in game with everybody recapping how their solo quests went. Additionally, just as a reminder for our viewers that after this week, we are going to be taking a small hiatus on the main game. There may be a one-shot opportunity popping up on Thursdays coming up, but that's still in the works. And we'll let you guys know on our socials about that as we have more information. But for now, we are going to be taking a short break because we are getting a new little mini party member who should be here early next week. So I will be preoccupied for some time. But on that note, let's get ready to dive in unless any of the players have any questions.
Nope,
If not, let's go ahead and dive right in. So we are going to pick up after everybody is back. And I think based on my rough calculations, the order that you guys came back would have been Gwen and Ali got back around the same time. Raceland came back after them by a week or so. Saltek, you came back more towards the end. And Boudica, you were the last one to come back.
I thought you said I was the last one.
Oh, that's right. You
in the
stayed
chat.
later. Then you'll be the last one back. Boudica, you're second to last. You and Boudica were close. I was going back and forth. I didn't remember which one of you came back last. Because Boudica's took 100 days. So, but yeah, this is I'm going to say this is like the day after that night, after everybody's been back. Last week back, have had time to settle back in, and you guys are all sitting around the table, and you have a chance to catch everybody up on how your quests went. Gwen, you're not on here, so let's bring you on, or do you want to pull yourself in?
Just a second. What? Where? Okay, sure. Hey, maybe.
All right. And Roxandra is sitting with you guys and looks at everybody and goes, all right, you're all back. I need to hear the stories. How did your quests go?
Splendid.
And
Nobody died permanently.
Let's have everybody roll a... Actually, let's start in the order I just said. Let's go... Nope, we're going to change that. Let's go Gwen can recount first, and then Raceland, and then Saltek, Boudica, and Ali can bring up the rear.
Are we doing this in character, or are we just doing it normal?
Yes, in character. You're telling the group how your quest went, and also this is our chance to do a recap. So, Gwen, you're up first.
My quest went good.
And what happened during the quest?
Oh, I mean, lots of stuff happened, but then it would take a really long time. What? Okay.
When are you concerned about time?
You're uncharacteristically soft-spoken today.
Because everybody is always concerned about time, and they're like, Ben, you can't tell a story for 3 days.
I wouldn't be concerned.
Why don't you give us just the Cliff Notes version, dear?
No, there were no cliffs. I was in the swamps.
I had some cliffs.
Yes, the Cliff Notes is a shorter version. Just a short summary, maybe 5 minutes or so.
Sure. Okay, so I was sitting around, and then this little boy prayed to me. He prayed to me one time before, but then he was just like, I thought he was just like fooling around. I thought he was in the city, but he was not in the city. No, he was someplace else. But this time he was in trouble. Well, he wasn't in trouble. His mom was in trouble, but I didn't know that until I got there. And he was down in the swamplands, and so I went to the swamplands, and I don't like it there. It's kind of and I went and I met some. I had to get a guide because obviously I don't know the swamplands, and apparently there aren't a lot of cities, especially where I was going. There wasn't a city at all, so I needed guides, and I got 2 guides, and their names were Daisy and Sir Ostosis, and we went, and it was rather. I mean, the journey itself was pretty unremarkable. A couple of people died at night. I just kept waking up to dead bodies. It was very weird. People kept trying to like murder us during the night, but like they ended up like murdering themselves. Waffles. Waffles is fierce, man. Waffles killed a man.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Anyways, so then we got down there. And
When you say that, Waffles looks at you and kind of does the little head tilts, like, what? What are you talking about?
well, unless there was another mini Triceratops, but that guy definitely had mini Triceratops bites all over him.
You remember that Waffles has a secondary form when Waffles gets angry?
Oh, that's right. Barbarian Triceratops.
Whoa, that's scary.
Anyway, she'll just pet Waffles, little Tricera rough, whatever. Let's see. And oh yeah, so we got down there, and then it was the middle of no place, and it was this island, and the island was guarded by a crocodile. Also, I helped a lot of crocodiles. They need a crocodile dentist. But anyways, yeah, we got on the island, and the island was protected by a crocodile, and the crocodile didn't want to let us leave, but then we helped her, and then she would have let us leave, but we had to stay there because we had to save the people that had already been taken. Anyways, okay, so there are people on the island. I didn't get to that part. There were people on the island. They had been captured by the slave traders, and then apparently nobody wanted to buy them, so then the slave traders sold them to the fish people, and the fish people were feeding them to an angry god. And so me and my 2 guards, and then 2 more guards who I could have hired at the beginning, but I didn't. And then they just showed up for reasons. They showed up too, and then they wanted to help me. And anyway, so we all volunteered to be sacrifices, as you do. And so some fishmen came, and they took us down to their lair to be sacrificed to the big, vicious god who actually at the time looked like Marshmallow. Not like Marshmallow looks now, because Marshmallow is currently what is Marshmallow currently? Marshmallow is currently a honey badger. Not like she looks now, but like she looked then.
Like a bumble badger.
Honeybee badger.
Yes. Honeybee badger. Where was I? Oh, right. Anyways, so it was a giant, scary marshmallow, and what happened? Oh, right. So they were gonna sacrifice us. Oh, did I mention? Oh, I met the little boy, and the reason that he had prayed to me was because his mom was one of the people who had already been sent down to be sacrificed. Fortunately, when we got there, oh, Raceland, wait, do you know her? Do you know Amarva?
Raceland, roll a history check with advantage.
With advantage. Marva. Let me think on that for a moment.
You remember hearing the name as one of your old tribespeople.
I do remember a Marva.
Yeah,
She was
yeah,
from Bar. She's a good hunter.
yeah. She's in town now. So we should go over and visit her, and you should talk to her because, obviously she was a slave, and I know your sister was a slave, and so I don't know if she knows your sister. She didn't remember, but I also didn't remember anything about your sister, so I couldn't be like, oh, that girl who looks like this and has this name.
Raisins just looking at you like a deer in the headlights. Like, could you slow down at least a little bit? Just a little bit. But yes, I would love to meet Marin or Sierra again, of course. It's been a while. I can't believe she was able to get free. I have so many questions for her.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, so back to the story. She was captured. We were in cages, and we were all trapped. I mean, we weren't really trapped because the cages were actually made of like sticks and mud, and we totally could get out of there at any second.
It's like a timeout.
But we were pretending to be trapped so that the fish people would think that we were trapped so that they wouldn't send the big evil monster at us until we were ready. So we got ready. And then I felt bad. We did kill the people that were holding us captive, the two fishmen that were there. And then, so, okay. So I don't know if you know about fish people, but fish people, they can like make a god out of their brain. Like they just believe in a god and poof, it's a god.
Like the sandwich bloke.
Yeah, just like that. That's like their whole thing is like apparently if you're a fish, you can just create gods. Like what? So they were doing that, and anyways, so the paladin, he was kind of like false gods are a bad thing, and I was like, I mean, false gods that eat people are a bad thing, yeah. Anyways, so he thought that we had to kill all of the fish people to stop them from making a false god, right? So we were gonna do that, but I felt really bad because I don't want to kill everybody because that's like a lot of people. Well, okay, there were only 16 of them, but like still that's a lot, right? And oh, right. So we called more of them down and then we were going to kill them. And then I think we did kill a few more. But then the third batch that came down, we were going to kill them. And then they were like, stop killing us. And I was like, okay, what? Because apparently they did also speak common, which I didn't know that because when we were driving down there, they were only speaking fish. And so I thought we couldn't communicate. But it turns out we could. Anyways, so once we started talking to them, they it turns out that they were sacrificing people to their god, which is not a good thing. But the reason that they were doing it is because they didn't want the god to eat them, because they didn't know that they created the god. They didn't know that they could do this. They just accidentally did it, and then one of them got afraid, and then it made the rest of them afraid. So like one of them was like, oh, it's kind of scary, what if it eats us? And then he told the other ones, and then they all believed that it was going to eat them, and so then it did want to eat them. And so I explained to them that they created the god, and so all they have to do is believe that it doesn't want to eat them. And maybe they could believe that it, was nice and that it wanted to protect the swamp and that it wanted to protect the slave people and that it wanted to protect all of everything except the slavers. I told them they could still beat the slavers up, but that they could do good things if they just believed that it did good things. And then they did. They kind of like sat down and like prayed for a minute, and then the big scary version of Marshmallow turned into an adorable version of Marshmallow. I mean, much like regular Marshmallow. I mean, he looked different, but like adorable like Marshmallow is.
I'm just thinking of like the Ghostbuster guy that came up with it.
The Stay
Yeah.
Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I mean, not that.
Okay,
Not
good.
that one.
Not that one.
And yeah, and so we let the rest of them live as long as they, continue to believe that their god is gonna help people. And I told them that we'd send the guild to like check up on them. Oh, and then they also sent a guy back that joined the academy. Have you met Koi? Koi is cool. He's a man of few words, but like he's pretty chill.
When you say that, somebody walks out of one of the rooms upstairs.
Oh, there he is.
Hi.
Greetings.
You guys totally haven't seen him wandering around the past 3 weeks.
I've only just gotten back.
Same.
And Bracelet probably just avoids not human contact, but
Humanoid contact.
humanoid contact, yes.
Well, I've
he,
just been comping, you know.
he comes down
There's
and
good
gets
fish.
food and then leaves.
There's plenty of fish. There's plenty of deer. I've got me campsite. I've had it since my freshman year. It's rather special to me. No offense to y'all. I love ya, but you're loud.
Don't we have like 4 extra people living with us at this point?
I think
I,
so.
I brought 4 home from my thing. I don't know if they're all living with us, but
Well, that
I
makes
have
like
a
that
little
6 now.
but he's
menagerie.
not
I've got
living,
Mara,
technically.
and I've got Moomin the crow, and then I've got my little spider familiar that always is crawling around, spying on people.
We got
I just-
Ladith as well.
Yeah. I've just got my undead.
You just got your undead.
Not,
fucking
not
got my
living,
skeleton.
zombie
doesn't count.
inside.
And he's
Fine.
mummified, so he's clean.
Oh god.
Excellent.
that's something.
Do you clean the
Uh.
bandages? Or does someone clean his bandages? Or is he like a dirty
Oh yeah, Saltek
mummy?
has like learned embalming from that book.
Okay. If we need a funeral director, we know who to go to.
Yeah.
Saltek of all people would not allow a dirty, rotten corpse in the house.
Alright, good.
Anyways, so yeah, that was and then we went back and I reunited Luca and Marva together and it was very heartwarming. And then we made a little altar to me because like yay me for doing a prayer, right? Yay.
Indeed. Congratulations.
And then we all went back to the main city because that's where the teleportation circle thing is. And then when we got back to the main city, turns out that the queen of the swampland, she's not nice.
It is the only country that allows slavery.
Yeah. And she did not like that people were leaving, even though they weren't slaves anymore because the fish people had given them up. But she was like, they still belong in this country. And I was like, I don't think any of them are even citizens of this country. So like, no, they don't belong to you. Let them leave. And she was like, I'll let you leave. And then, but only because I have to, because you're like an elf. And I was like, that's not cool. What about the other elves? And then like, she was like, you know what? Never mind. I'll just kill you all. And then I was like, oh, no, you won't. And I got real mad. And then Merlin showed up. And then he was like, hey, don't mess with a god. And then she was like, fine, leave this time, but I can never come back or else she's going to like kill me then. But So I hope we don't have to go. Does anybody have to go to the marshland? I hope not. So that's it.
The only place I didn't have to go, actually.
Questions, comments, concerns? Did you meet the other people? There's there's Daisy. There's Koi, who's just here. There's I forgot his name, but his twin died.
You expect me to remember?
Yes.
You're lucky he got a name.
Well, congratulations on becoming a full-fledged prayer answering goddess.
And did Carmo the fifth come with us, or did he stay?
The bow guy?
The dragon guy. Or
Oh, yeah,
the lizard dragon guy. There was the tiefling. There was Daisy. There's the lizard guy.
Oh, Kamotonk.
Yeah.
I remember because he was same name as my patron.
Yeah, which is why I was
That's
gonna be like, oh yeah, he's upstairs.
Koi's the only one staying at Orc House. The rest of them are in town in their own places.
Okay.
They are staying at an inn. Koi just literally only has the money that you gave him, and so you offered him a place here,
That's fair.
which is totally something that Gwen would do.
Yes. I mean, she probably told all of them they could stay in her room, but
I guess your room is as big as you want it to be.
exactly.
It's
Kind
like
of jungle in there.
it's like a magical room.
And yeah, that was mostly it. Yeah.
Fascinating story.
What an amazing story.
Sounds like quite the adventure.
And you speak it so fast.
Well, she said I had to do it in 5 minutes or less. And I think I still took 10.
I wonder if this god-creating ability could be used to our advantage.
I mean, I think that, like I said, the fish people down there, they didn't seem to know that they could do it, just that they could do it, because obviously nobody taught them that they could do it. And then when clerics and paladins show up, they usually just kill them because, they don't want them to do it. But like once I taught them, they were like, "Oh, okay." So, I'm hoping that maybe they'll teach the other fish people, and then that they'll like start doing good. Because, like I said, that swamp place, like it was even the ecosystem was messed up. Like there were too many predators and like not enough prey, so all the predators were always hungry because there was nothing to eat, which is why they wanted to eat us. Like in order to have a healthy, balanced ecosystem, something has to be prey, something has to eat plants. Also, the plants were overgrown because nothing was eating them. It's a balance.
Aye, everything in balance.
Well,
I saw it many times in the jungle.
fish people don't abuse their power now that they know that they have it. Let's hope that they don't, start ruling their god, and shaping it the way they want it.
Well, I mean, we want them to shape it the way they want it.
In a
And if it
positive
shapes
way.
it into an evil thing or a selfish thing.
Well, I mean, if it shapes into an evil thing, but we want it to we need them to have a god that fulfills their needs, and their needs are just like everybody else's.
I understand that, but I'm saying is there needs, like you said, there needs to be a balance. If this god just gives and gives and gives, then the people will become selfish and can ask and demand anything, and the god has to obey. I mean, there has to be a balance, like you said.
Now, wouldn't
True.
that be interesting? That would make the god their slave in a way.
Exactly.
Although from what you are saying, Gwen, this sounds like these people are rather simple. So perhaps their needs are met quite easily, and things won't get too complicated.
It sounded like the marshmallow creature was quite happy at the end.
Yeah.
You never asked his name. I just went back and looked.
Okay. Well, I would have asked his name on the way back.
He's like,
His name would have been.
Gerald.
I mean, you don't have to give it to him right now until he shows up again, because you'll forget it between now and when he shows up again.
That's
We have
fair.
the memory wizard now. Well, what a riveting story. I guess that means it's my turn.
Yeah.
So here I was in Orkhouse, minding my own business, working on my spell book, trying to learn Fog Cloud. When, by full Cavarti's grace, bam, the door just smashes open, and in comes this crazy chicken man, strumming along. His name, if I can recall, was Newing Strumsticks. He was a fascinating fellow, and he said he was there to watch me hunt. I've never had some sort of audience when I'm hunting before. This was an odd feeling for me. I almost kind of wanted to ditch him,
Hmm.
but I didn't. He turned out to be a strapping fellow at the end, and truly was the main reason why I was actually able to successfully kill the creature that I was going to kill. So I was happy to have him at the end. I also met a nice wood elf, or a high elf, named Iris. She was an elven ranger, that she was. She was going to be me chaperone. And so off we went, Iris, knowing myself, off to a temple to Fuakavarti, where we could pay our respects proper and meet the rest of our party. The first member of the party that we met was a very interesting dog by the name of Max. He was a good lad. He could stand on his 2 feet, shoot a bow. It was quite fascinating. Truly a good boy. And then there was this bear. He was big and strong. He went by the likes of Kalo. He spoke common, slow, and heavy in his speech. With his arrival, we pay our respects to Kuo Kavarti, and we all did wonderful things. Truly blessed Fuo Kavarti as hard as we could. I, for one, made sure to slit a bird's throat very cleanly and spread the blood as well as I could on the altar. Once we were done with this, Fuo Kavarti was so pleased. They gifted us with a gift, a truly divine steed, a flaming steed by the name of Cinderstride. Truly was a glorious horse, I tell ye. Except she wouldn't eat the herbs I tried to give her. I wish I had some carrots. Maybe she would have eaten them then. I'll never know if I was truly friends with Cinderstrike, but I'd like to believe I was. Once we met all of our people, we went off to the desert, which, to tell you the truth, I truly believed it would be Mumani that I was fated to slay a beast in. And so color me surprised as I'm standing in almost the same spot that we had our wisdom tests in. Hot and humid as the sun rises in our home camp, and everything is perfect except this one hippie bunny telling us not to go for a kill. Can you imagine being out to hunt for a god and being told not to do it? We almost skinned the fucking bunny right then and there, but we let him go because it would have put a bad taste in our mouths. Eventually, we got ready and we discovered the theme. And the theme of the hunt that we were to do was delicious. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I assume it means it's something good for eating. Kayla left right away. I decided to wait in the morning using the wisdom that we all gained together in our last time in the desert. Iris followed me, and so did Newing. For Newing was mostly there to watch me hunt, apparently.
Sounds like a rather annoying companion to have.
I actually rather liked him. I was just confused personally. I felt like if it were me, I would be wanting to do the hunt myself rather than talk about it. But I guess that's why I'm not a bard. Well,
Well, how did the hunt go?
we ended up moving for about a week, and we ended up camping over on this cliff face. I had covered it up with a nice cloth that looked like the rock itself. We were hanging out there when I heard another one of them bunnies bantering around outside. I probably should have brought him in, to be honest, after some retrospect, but at the time I decided just to blow him off. It was a foolish mistake, to tell you the truth. That it was. He got attacked by 3 predators. They're all blue drake guards. They surrounded the fucking thing. For some reason, at this point, I got to tell you, the goodness in me took over and I wanted to save the bunny. I used my minor illusion spell to conjure a 5 foot tall skull, and I made it scream with prestidigitation. One of them ran away, but they ran away towards me. One ran the other way, and one just remained where it was. We had no choice but to fight. I managed to take out the first quite easily, and then Max, of all things, showed up and helped assist in the second kill, and Kalo dispatched the third. To be totally honest, I thought Max and Kalo were nowhere to be seen, on their own hunt, in their own accord. But here they were, telling me to work with them, and to work with them I did. But first it was time to eat and sleep. We caught up the drake guards and made ourselves a wonderful feast. We had a pretty good time, to be honest. The next morning we woke up and we went on our search for whatever the beast is. You see, these beasts, when they're blessed by Fuakvarti, they become large, gigantic in size, to be true. And so you know when you know. If you see 'em, you'll see 'em. And after a while, we found ourselves some proper tracks. We moved all the way until we found ourselves upon an interesting cliff face that spread about like a semicircle. There was soft sand like a dune in the middle, and that's where the cracks disappeared. We climbed up onto the rocks, and I had a feeling that perhaps the beast was underneath. So I threw the ball bearings in hopes to make the earth move, and the earth moved, it did, but not enough. I tried other things, but nothing really worked. At that time, Newing started playing a song for me. I chastised him for being loud, but to be honest, it was the music itself that stirred the beast. And so we egged him on, and Newing strumming played with the divinity of the gods. This man truly knew how to strum, as his name suggested. Well, eventually it came up and it turned out to be a gigantic crab, of all things. Amazing to behold. I went into stealth. I fired an arrow. The arrow is whizzing through the air, straight for its face, when that bastard Kalo blew it out of the air with some spell. Swerve arrow, I believe I heard him say. Fire again I did, only to have it swerved a second. And now I stealthed myself proper, went, took a deep breath, fired me arrow true. He was out of spell slots, and it was time to fell the beast. Right through the eye it did, but regenerated as fast as it took damage, and it jumped higher than any building I've ever seen, any of the mutated trees and all of the Mar and Oakwood. I couldn't believe it, and it blotted out through the sun, and I lost it. It took us 4 days to track the bastard down. And once we did, we learned something true from Iris the chaperone. It turns out that you can work together to get the blessing of Vuokavarti with the hunt. And with this, Taylor decided not to ambush me, but to be a proper companion. And we went at it as a team. And by the end of it, we were able to fell the foul beast, pray to Vuokavarti for it, and gain ourselves all the materials and the blessings that it held. And not only was I able to gain myself another hunt that I can be truly proud of, but I gained some friends outside of me party here. And that could be perhaps as valuable as the crab shells and claws themselves.
Well,
And that's it for me.
that's quite a story, Raistlin.
And
Quite the
Raceland, would
tale.
you pull out a piece of the golden crab shell?
Yeah, to show it. This is going to be a shield and armor for you, Saltek. And he pulls
Is it
out
now?
some of it.
Really? Is it real metal?
Well, it's a shell, me lad, but it's stronger than mithril. Truly a wonder to behold.
Strange, but
Saltic, you pick it up,
strange.
and it feels hard like a shell, but it also does have that rigidity and ring of metal when you like poke at it.
Can I just
and
take like a tiny nibble on it?
Sure.
Oh, I
Um,
see. Wait, so he wants to
You
eat it.
feel actually that it's unlike anything you've ever tasted before. It feels both organic and metallic at the same time.
A living metal. This is very strange.
Interesting.
I'm curious to see what you make of it.
I can't wait to see what Zali makes out of it. He's quite a talented smith, you know.
We'll try.
I
I'll
can-
see what kind of
I can agree.
how best to shape it for you, Saltek.
Well, I would be grateful.
But still, that was a grand tale, Raceland.
Very well done.
Aye, many thanks. It was such a wonderful experience for me. I almost want to kill it again.
And from what I
Dad.
hear, for Kavarti's chosen beasts only come once in a lifetime, no?
I couldn't tell you how durable the damn thing was. I kept shooting it and shooting it.
The Great Hunt happens every year.
Oh, is it? Oh.
But I think it's like a rare thing if you actually catch it.
Hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah, not bad for a senior exam. Thank you, DM.
I love that you got a crab. That's fucking awesome.
I rolled. I actually had a table and I rolled, and first I rolled the region, and then I had made a little list of in each region of what it could be, and I rolled the crab.
And how was visiting my homeland, Raceland? I was able to spend a brief time in the desert, but how did you find it?
To tell you the truth, when you're an organic lad like myself, it's pretty hot and pretty humid, and it's pretty dangerous. And there's not a lot of places for me to hide. So those would be the drawbacks. But it makes me stronger, and it makes me strive for more knowledge, more things to be able to become comfortable in a challenging place like that.
Indeed, the sands hide many secrets.
And secrets worth finding, I'm sure. Now, who's up next for the next grand tale?
Saltek or Bodica, I don't remember which one of you. One of you two.
I don't
That
remember
Boudica
which.
was last.
You can go ahead, Bodica.
Well, mine was to so you guys remember when we had to go into the arena and kill a bunch of people?
Yes.
And the lady that had the bombs, the bomb book.
Indeed, it was quite a
Do I
battle.
DM, do I still smell of drugs?
You don't, but the book does when you pull it out.
Lovely.
You've been smoking that fey lettuce?
Huh. That's an interesting smell there, sister.
It smells faintly
Yeah.
like mushrooms. What have you been doing?
Gwen's like names like a very specific name of it. Like she's like, yes.
Boudica is just like, she puts her head in her hand. Yeah, so I was tasked with infiltrating a group that was planning to bomb a castle, and where the hell did I end up going?
You were in the forest.
The forest.
Hanging out?
I had to go to this place called Cedarville in the forest, and my mission was to find the bomb plans, and if I could, destroy their leader and gather information. And so when I went there, on my way there, well, I met with we'll just call her my handler. Her name was Traylon. Uh, Basically, she told me I had to do an audition to get into the people's group. They didn't have a name, did they? I didn't ask it.
Yeah, we just knew him as the
No.
terrorist eco group,
Yep,
I
this
think.
yeah, terrorist.
They
eco
didn't.
group
They didn't have a great name. They were still workshopping that when they were doing drugs, and it changed every time.
Gotcha. Perfect. Um, yeah. So on my way to Cedarville, I was just going down the road and got picked up by a giant eagle.
Wow.
And it called me a little mouse. And I told it I wasn't a little mouse, and it told me that anything smaller than it is a little mouse, and it's gonna eat me. So, um, I kind of had to use my wit and basically tell him that if he let me go, I'd give him a name. And he's like, I already have a name. It's Giant Eagle. And I was like, yeah, but that's not really a name. That's just what you are. And so we made a deal that if I gave him a name, he'd take me where I needed to go. So I named him Vega, which means swooping eagle. And he seemed really happy with that. So he literally took me to the town over from where I was supposed to go and cut my journey there by a lot. And then I walked to the next town over and basically kind of staked the place out for about 3 days. There was a elf, a me-sized frog with mushrooms. He was a very interesting person.
Kalen.
Kalen, yeah. There was an angry town guard. He was dwarf. And they just seemed to be partying like the whole time. So I finally decided to try an audition. I'm pretty sure I got caught at one point, but the guy never said nothing. So I auditioned. I went into the house, and there was this cat that was made out of clouds. Gwen, you would have been so happy to have him. I did try to get him to come here.
Fluffy was pretty cool.
But the cat was just made out of clouds. It was pretty enchanting. He tried to pull a fast one over on me. I don't know what he tried to do, but he tried to do something, but it didn't work. And then things got really blurry uh, for quite a while, like a long while. Um, there was like mushrooms and clouds and fog. And I mean, I searched that whole house trying to find like a secret lair, and I couldn't find one. Or at least I think I did. I don't remember a lot.
What,
But at some point,
was there a lot of enchantment magic in the house that made you forget?
no, there was, Kaylin spored the place basically. There was a lot of drugs. She looks really ashamed that she says that.
Ollie's eyes just like widen at the revelation about doing a lot of drugs.
Did you bring some back?
I didn't.
Any magicite?
No.
That's good stuff.
I will say though that Callan was like secreting this like liquid, and I was trying to get it. I was trying to collect some to bring it home because it like ate through glass, and then it ate through metal, and
What
it
the
ate through
fuck?
a copper pot.
Wow.
That,
Did you not
Pretty
simply ask
terrifying.
him?
that sounds very Fey. Does this sound familiar?
Roll a history check.
Guidance. Oh, you don't even need that.
Yeah, you know there's a race of creatures that are frog people, and one of the subspecies of them is like a poisonous frog, and they do secrete this acid poison stuff that just is disgusting and destroys everything.
I mean, about the only thing it didn't destroy is wood.
Yeah, if you lick it right off of them, ooh.
You turn into Umnar 8 for a second there.
It ate through metal. I can't even imagine what it would do to organs.
Roll a nature check on that one, Boudica.
So good.
Perfect. Gwen's a dryad.
She's made out of wood. Yep. Makes sense.
So how do you like the drugs? Are they as good as the alcohol?
I didn't have any control over what happened,
Well, that sounds terrible.
so I think I like alcohol more because I can choose when to stop. I didn't have a
Cheers
choice.
to that.
Yeah.
You and I will have to have a glass of wine at some point.
That sounds like a good idea.
I will hook you up, and then you can try it when you do have a choice to like stop.
She's like, I will guide you.
Don't worry, I got the shrooms, guys.
Yeah, she's like, I know where the good mushrooms grow. I know.
I know a guy.
Ollie's like, wait. Are you offering Boudica drugs, Gwen?
Gwen
Yes.
is not just doing that;
Why?
she's like offering to be the
Yes.
guru.
Ollie,
She
Ollie,
doesn't-
do you
She's
a good
offering to be a
time.
trip sitter.
She doesn't know where they grow. Gwen's been growing them in her room.
Ollie, do you forget the time your mother offered me drugs?
I believe I was outside of the room when that happened.
They were
What
good.
type of drug would
They
make
were rather
you
nice.
Saltag?
They were good.
There's nothing wrong with drugs as long as it is your choice, and you don't have to go anywhere the rest of the day. You wanna make sure that you have an easy day planned. You get a lot of snacks. You get some comfy pillows. Oh, a nice bed of moss.
We got too much to do in a day. There's no way I could just sit still.
I agree
Isn't that
with
what you
Raceline.
do out in the forest? You just sit in your little like hunty thing until something comes by. Like you just sit there for like hours until a deer comes by.
Well, maybe if I'm fighting or hunting the deer. But if I'm not hunting deer, I'm training, or I'm writing poetry, or I'm doing something. I'm always
Yeah.
doing something.
Yeah, you need to take a day and chill.
Raisin's like, I'm too young for that. I don't like to admit it, but I feel like I'm too young for that. He gets all nervous. And he puts his cloak on.
It's okay, Raceland. I share the same sentiment.
A bowl of nails.
That's it, Saltak.
A
Well,
bowl of
mean-
nails.
I mean, that's not my vibe, but I can see that being your. And exactly, you choose your own vibe. You choose your own vibe.
Yeah.
So what happened next, Abotica?
Well, part of my initiation was to into the group was to see what I was made of. So I threw one of the sneezing bombs that I had at the town guard guy that kept coming to the house and banging on the door because people were being too loud. And he just kept sneezing. But the like leader didn't really trust me all that much. So I ended up over the course of the like long period of time that I was out of it, I made 28 bombs. I don't remember
That's
doing
a lot
it.
of bombs.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of bombs.
If you
Were
don't
they
remember,
big bombs or were they just the sneezing bombs?
DM.
They are mostly real bombs.
You're making real bombs for the terrorists.
I just
Yeah.
Well, I
I
guess you got to be believable. You took them, right? With you? You didn't leave them with the terrorists?
DM.
No, you left them there.
Oh, you left the bombs with the Draco terrorists. What a
I mean-
wonderful idea, Boudica.
I mean,
Maybe
in
the
all-
drugs are bad for you after all.
in all fairness, she didn't remember making them, so odds are they're probably not like they're gonna like explode. They're like the explode in your face kind of bombs, probably, and we probably don't want them.
I certainly
Yeah.
hope so. Anyways,
Yeah. So.
Well, you're
Uh,
certainly living up to your guild's name.
Yeah.
Ollie goes over and pats Boudica's shoulder, comforting her a bit. It's okay.
She's like starting to like fluff up a little bit.
It's okay.
the feathers are getting ruffled.
Yeah. So after the long period of time spent there, the leader asked me. He wanted to show me something. I was a little skeptical, but he took me to the one place that I didn't look, which was under the pool. I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently it is. Into his like secret lair. He wanted to show me what he was working on. And there was a giant bomb down there. And I mean, when I say giant bomb, it was like 5 Bodicas. It was big.
Right, Boudica's is a pretty big bomb.
Yeah.
Did it
But-
look like it would work?
I mean,
With all the
yeah.
drugs and everything? Yeah?
I was coming down at this point, but yeah, it looked like it would work. And he went from like this like guru looking guy to basically a crime syndicate boss. Like it was like a complete 180.
I do remember that. He became
yeah.
the Manhattan Project
Yeah.
scary person.
And Fluffy came down with us. I didn't even know Fluffy was like following us, but Fluffy was down there with us as he was revealing to me what he had planned to do with this bomb, which was to blow up a castle that was going to be started, which had already been built because they had started this plan a very long time ago and it just never came to fruition. So there's actually a castle already built. But they still wanted to bomb it. And they were coming up with ideas of how to be able to get it in there. And I was, throwing a couple ideas out there. And as I was looking around the room, I saw the plans on the wall of how the bomb was made. So as this guy's talking, he's also like mentally connected with
I think he was just crazy, and he was like
Yeah.
hallucinating the voices of.
yeah, he was talking to a bunch of people that were upstairs and they were all having this like weird conversation. I'm pretty sure he was just talking to himself, but that's just me. I actually was able to converse with Fluffy, and Fluffy did not want to bomb everything. Fluffy was actually a person that made a deal with a genie, and basically got a second chance at life. But he needed people to be able to run his house so that he could live the life that he wanted, which is why he has the unfortunate eco terrorists there. But he wanted Umar stopped. Not necessarily killed, but the guild wanted him killed. So I was conversing with Fluffy and basically was like, hey, when we leave, I need you to grab those plans off the wall and bring them to me, and I'll prevent the bomb from going boom. So later that night, Fluffy got me the plans. I basically looked at them over real good and dismantled the bomb later in the evening to where it was not functional at all. And then I spiked his wine with the octopus venom.
Well, by Volcarianus Grace, don't tell us that part.
Well done.
Plausible deniability. What are they teaching at the Rogue Guild? But good job, nonetheless. But still,
Yeah.
plausible deniability, Boudica. Don't be telling people when you assassinate them.
Well, you're my family. I should be able to tell you what I want.
Racing gets super, super red. And then he just like puts the scarf like past his mouth and up to his eyes.
But yeah, I basically talked with Traylon and let her know that the bomb has been dismantled and that the second part of the deed will be done at some point. She just has to keep her eyes open. And then I received a letter saying I got a passing grade on both.
Well done, Boudica.
Yeah.
Why to get rid of that scary bomb? And that scary bomb enthusiast.
I don't know. He sounds like he could have been reasoned with.
He sounded like he was completely unreasonable. He was talking to himself so bad that Boudica was able to talk to Fluffy as if there was nobody in the room.
Which is exactly why he was unhinged enough that I'm pretty sure he could have been dissuaded from bombing something if
Well,
he was
maybe
that
for at
far
least
gone.
3 or 30 minutes. But what about
Yes.
tomorrow or 3 weeks from then when it remembers that he wants to bomb things?
Look, it may seem like some people are talking to themselves, but sometimes the voices are real.
Well, maybe for you, you warlock.
Maybe he was conversing with the people upstairs. Maybe he had like the message cantrip.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Either way, his motives do sound.
Did he use any
extreme.
somatic expressions or any verbal incantations before he was speaking? Or was he just rambling like a loony?
He was kind of just rambling.
He was rambling like a loony, so he was. And he like looks at Gwen. It's like a I told you so look.
I mean, in all fairness, you guys think I ramble to myself because I do. I mean, sometimes I'm talking to like Marshmallow or to Waffles or to Stephen Anglican
Yeah, but
or
you're
to myself.
generally like looking at the person that you're talking to. He was looking at the ceiling.
Because that's where the people were.
That's where the people were.
I love that you're defending it so hard.
Somebody's got to be the devil's advocate.
He was a good man. He just needed to be persuaded. So yeah, that was,
Fascinating story.
yeah.
Ollie, what's going through your head? Your sister just told you she went to a drug den for several months, did a lot of drugs, and then murdered somebody.
He's praying.
Overwhelmed,
He's
but you
like,
know
nothing
what?
compared to what I did.
Overwhelmed, but you know what? That's not the worst that could have happened.
She looks up at you like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
What do you do?
We'll get to mine now.
It's Saltek's turn next.
Saltek, what did you do?
Alexandra cuts in.
What
Well,
happened, Salsa?
My journey certainly had its ups and downs, I must say. And he gestures to the red cracks all over his body. My first journey, what I did was I went around completing quests for each of my patrons to master this new ability I found I had. And he summons a magic hilt from his wrist and switches between different weapons, and they're just these spectral green glowing weapons. The first was Kamotank the Crimson. He was a conqueror long ago in Sishi, a lizard folk. He was a renowned warrior too at that. Uh, well known for an iron fist he wielded after his was lost in a fight with a crocodile. I was sent to the Underdark actually to retrieve it. It was being used as a doorstop, funny enough. And at his request, I took it and slapped the owner across the face after I interrupted him in the middle of, you know, private business that you organics do. And he did not take kindly to it. His henchmen were rather appreciative, but he attacked me, and I assumed he was a novice with his blade, but perhaps he was only uh, acting, because he struck me down. I nearly died. I thought that was the end for me, but
Oh no.
my patron was able to save me. Suffice to say, I've missed having my two clerics among me, and he gestures to you too, and along the way, I've actually mastered the art of necromancy, as you can see, and he gestures to his ghoul that's been following him. This was a kind man by the name of Hans, I believe. Was it? Yes. Who has been so kind as to donate his body to my research and has been serving quite well as a ghoul now. But my next journey was done in the service of Gregaros, some kind of ancient evil beyond the stars. I've never heard of anything like it. He once had a temple dedicated in his name, and the dwarves of New Golder they resented him and they rebelled one day, and they've done their best to erase his name from history, but there was one idol left in the temple, and he had me retrieve it for him. As it turns out, New Golder is not a very hospitable land. The dwarves do not take kindly to black magic, as they put it. And they sent a guard alongside me, and oddly enough, it was a child, younger even than Raceland, and I was sure he would not.
He like raises an eyebrow and stares at you.
I was sure he was going to die along the trip, but he has some kind of gift to him. He has the ability to increase his size and summon storms, very primal gifts. He simply does not know how to use them, and I tried to encourage him along the way, which did not work. Funny enough, Ali, I plan to give you the flame tongue I salvaged from that goblin that attacked me, but I gave it away to this child after to make amends for what I did. But we made our way to the temple. He proved himself a rather fine adventurer. He was able to unlock the seal with his blood. He even went inside of the temple when it was crumbling, and he knew that I was too heavy to enter. But just as he was exiting, it began to fall, and for a moment, I was afraid I would not be able to save him. But my patron, Gregaros, he apparently, despite his hatred for dwarves, he saved the child. So, funny enough, I suppose even outer beings of such evil are capable of selfless acts at times. And we made our way back. The next, I did complete all of them over the course. I was gone for some time, but these were the most notable ones. There was a lich who was once a bard by the name of Ogrelazar Black. He what did he tell me? He was once a bard who was turned into a lich by his lover, and unfortunately she died. Eventually, upon one of his deaths, his phylactery found its way inside of my body, and so he became one of my patrons. And he requested to go to Halo, which is probably an even less welcoming place to one such as me. But we were able to find a temple that had the wine he was looking for, which, by the way, Ali, Dovi sends her regards. I was able to convince her to
Real quick,
Give
Ali
us-
and Boudica, roll a history check.
Do you think it affected you having that phylactery inside you?
I don't think it affected me any more than the other 99 patrons I have.
Ali, you remember her. Boudica, you have no idea who this is.
The phylactery makes people immortal, doesn't it? But I guess you're already kind of that, anyways.
I am.
I remember. Yeah, Dovey is a bit of a Lolita type.
Kind at her center, but yes, a bit zealous. It took some convincing to have her allow a lich to take wine from her church. But we did it. And as a
Ali,
matter of
remember
fact,
what
I
I
even
Remember what I messaged you.
I even
All he
had
remembers
to-
is just not
Yep.
gonna say anything.
I didn't remember if you forgot that I messaged
No,
you about that.
I literally pulled it up and I'm looking at that note. Yeah, but just
Gotcha.
always being respectful. Not gonna say anything
And
else.
he also, well, I don't condone this, and I did apologize, but Ograzar insisted that I make her reveal herself to me. And
I'm sorry,
funny enough,
Saltek,
she did.
I didn't catch that. What did you say?
Ogrelazar insisted that I make Dovi reveal herself to me,
Ah,
undress for me. Again, not my finest moment, but I agreed to complete each patron's quest. But I suppose it was one of the better ones. No one came close to dying. And then my final one, thankfully, took me back home to the desert of Tawasha. In Aldista, there is a tavern which hosts a challenge called the Ankagan Bowstring Challenge. It's a legendary bow that once belonged to a titan, and whoever could string it would win the bet and take the prize. Oddly enough, out of everyone who had ventured, no one had ever thought of how to properly string a bow. Weirdly. But I did it. I was successful, and I won the prize, which was a grand total of 5,000 gold, but Canvas insisted that I had to eat all of it. So, sadly, it all went to waste. But I have these abilities. I've made amends with each of my patrons, and we're all more powerful for it. So, all is well as it ends well.
Saltek, roll a perception check. Okay. Boudica, roll a perception check.
Okay.
Is Ollie making a face or trying to stifle laughter?
Ollie is trying to stifle a little bit of laughter.
Boudica, you notice your brother holding something back. He looks like he's giggling a little bit quietly.
She'll give him a confused look, like, and nod, like, "You okay?"
I'm okay. Sorry. Continue. Saltek didn't mean that.
Yes, it was a grand quest. I'm glad to have done it. And the myriad of weapons I can now summon are fascinating.
Which is your favorite? Or do you have a favorite?
Well, I don't know. They each. I know which ones are my least favorite, at least. There are some
Well-
which were downright useless, but
What do you hate more than any of them? I want to know that as well.
let me see. There is one which. Why this patron used it is beyond me, but he finds it rather funny. It's a dagger which breaks immediately upon hitting a target. It's a one-time use blade.
That sounds like a wonderful way to create a powerful threat. But I bet you could do it with good timing and dexterity as well.
Perhaps, perhaps.
But if you really truly had intent to kill someone, and you thrust that thing at their throat with all of your force, and it stopped just a moment, a hair's breadth before death, I bet they would have your attention.
Perhaps they would. Yes, and I rather enjoyed my time back in Aldista, but something I'm afraid has happened to my home. The tower of Clan Hetra has been blocked by some kind of force field. I'm unaware how this has happened in their absence.
It's not just something they put up to like protect it.
I know their seal when I see it. Besides, they did allow me access while they are gone. Whoever has done this has no idea who they were dealing with. They were all gold level wizards.
Or if you need a scout, I'd be willing to help you out. Even
Perhaps
after
if we have time, it
graduation.
could be our next quest. But enough
Aye.
about me.
Our
Ollie,
next
how
quest.
is yours?
Ollie,
Brother.
you're on mute.
Sorry, I thought they were still talking because they said like, okay, on the next quest. Wasn't sure if like that was my sign to go or just
I did say, what about yours, Ollie? It might
Oh.
have just not picked up.
probably.
I
Sorry.
like cut out my question when I heard that because that was a good time.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what's going on, Celtic. I'm having a hard time hearing you, so apologies.
Oh.
But
Is everyone else hearing me okay?
I hear you
Yeah.
fine.
Hearing you
Yeah, you've been
okay.
fine.
okay, must be my
Gotcha.
computer then. So sorry about that. Okay. Ollie's gonna stand up. All right.
What's
Well,
with the long sigh?
All right. Let's just get this over and done with. Pull the proverbial bandage off the wound. I failed my quest.
You did.
You're not
What?
graduating?
I technically am graduating, but
So we'll
I
still
failed on a
be able to adventure with you, right, won't we?
So, hold on. Let me
What,
explain.
what did you say, Saltec? I didn't hear what you said that time.
We could still adventure with you, can't we?
Yes, I'm
Oh.
still graduating, but that should tell
Good.
you how bad my quest went. My scores and everything else helped me graduate, but technically I failed my quest due to what happened. To summarize, you all remember me mentioning when I was out flying in Centralia and I saw a ghost, a person sweeping. Do you all remember me mentioning that?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, the ghost gave me a ring and told me to find the mirror and give it to his darling. And I started doing some research on it, and somehow it actually connected to Phelan, believe it or not. Remember that name that kept appearing in the islands? That also had the name Card Phelan was here in Mr. Potts's shop with the tree. I started investigating that and searching for it, and I found that there was a poem associated with it. Strangely enough, the book, all records of the poem have mostly disappeared. I have the last copy of it, which I was able to find, or rather, was delivered to me by someone. Someone anticipated me doing the research for it. Suffice to say, it discusses a very terrible time at the end of the Third Era and the beginning of the Fourth. After the elves destroyed using that powerful magic that destroyed an arm of Heptagonia, the human armies were decimated and the races rushed forward and seized all the lands and all the magic items and the kings and queens and nobles and began executing them. One king, before he passed away, sealed his wife and his daughter into a mirror.
Son.
Or sorry, wife and son. Sorry, wife and son into a mirror. And there, you see Ollie kind of like pales for a moment.
She'll grab your hand.
Thanks. One of the holidays that features where they put the tree, they decorate the tree with lots of light bulbs and ornaments with like crowns and such, actually hails from the elves butchering the humans and putting their crowns after they beheaded them on the trees, their entrails on the trees and everything else.
They
The rest
were-
of you can roll a history check real quick.
They're desecrating the trees.
They were celebrating humans being killed.
By desecrating the trees.
Yep.
Go ahead, Gwen.
I was going to say we don't do that at home. You don't put. I mean, first of all, why would you even bother decorating a tree? A tree is naturally decorated.
That was the first rule you gave me, Gwen. Hunt the monsters, hunt the beasts, don't shoot the trees. And I
Yeah.
believe ya. And I agree with ya.
Raceland, you actually remember this holiday because it was really big in Mara. Boudica, you kind of know what he's talking about. Saltek, you also know of this holiday. It's the winter holiday.
Winter's crest.
And you would celebrate it by bringing a tree into the house, adorning it with colorful bulbs, normally of silver and gold.
What would we do in Mara, though? Because we didn't have any technology in Mara, and we definitely wouldn't fuck with trees. So it'd have to be, like, modified.
Right. You guys would still do
we
a
did
version
use
of
the-
it where you guys would, like, hang, like, bones on the tree. But one tradition that all of you remember doing was taking fresh berries and stringing them and letting the juices form a ring around the tree.
Okay. We also had all of those fireflies, like, that we could use to decorate, that we
Yeah,
used
put
for
'em in a jar.
lanterns and things.
Is this that same holiday with that we did the one shot for with Senator Claus?
Yes.
Claus.
But that took place before this event.
Oh yeah, because
So-
this was like first era, right?
Yep.
That was first era, yeah. And this was between
End of
Three and-
third.
3 and
Beginning of-
4, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'd
So-
say we probably didn't do it in my house because one, we were there. Well, time wise,
Right. But also, Gwen,
and also we
you-
don't do trees like that.
Right. You would also know, like, you know of it because it was such a weird thing to see happening when you got here over the last couple years. Basically, this is for your brains, this is decorating a Christmas tree.
So, I learned a great deal of, or not just a great deal. I've already known that there is a lot of suffering for humans, half elves, half orcs, and such. All the lives that have been stuffed here in poverty in Centralia. I witnessed a memory of the actual executions and the actual macabre gore that happened during that time.
Was it glorious?
Glorious?
It doesn't look like it was glorious.
No, I mean, they were killing humans and beheading them and hanging their heads. Like, no, no, Raistlin.
That sounds horrible, actually. Not at all glorious.
I mean, were they the humans that were responsible for killing all the elves?
No, that's the thing. They were just any human that was a king, queen, prince, lord, noble, anyone in power. And even then, it's questionable about what exactly were the humans doing, because it isn't as the history books say. It's not just, oh, humans conquered 80% of Heptagonia after the elves said no more reproduction with humans. And even that by itself is questionable. But apparently there was genocide, there was attacks, and I partially know this, but it's colored a little bit from someone else who I spoke with, which I'll get to in a moment. But needless to say, I was galvanized and I was emotional, and I decided whatever was going to happen, I was going to try to deliver this ring to the wife and son of that ghost, who apparently was a king. So I traveled to the islands, and we met Nadia and Ilona. We sailed for several days, weeks, and reached the island that was once called Martman, but now is called Mantral, and it's controlled by the Orca-kin and the elves. There, I ran across Layla and asked some questions about what was going on the island, and I found out that there was a museum with a mirror. A powerful mirror apparently was an artifact that was once belonged to the human race. So the next day we went there and I heard a human get killed because they were quote unquote trespassing. One of the elves, her name was Brecht.
What do you mean by quote unquote?
Well, they said that no humans are allowed in the palace, and apparently a human had stepped foot on the palace, and so they neutralized
Do
him.
you know why the human stepped foot on the palace?
They said neutralize. I don't know what happened, but from how zealous they are, it would not surprise me if they killed the person.
Well, neutralize certainly sounds like they killed him, but why was he there to begin with?
Apparently trying to find out history about their own people.
And wait a moment, my friend. I need to write this down. In this, you said this was in the present when this human was killed.
Yes.
Not the memory you'd seen?
No, this is the present. I traveled to the island of Mantro. I didn't see which Nadia could not stay on the island because they have a strict no humans allowed policy.
I see.
To reside or sleep that night. And the only reason Nadia was allowed is because she was a guild member, but even then she was not allowed to stay on the land. She had to leave that same night.
I see. This is very important history to know.
So I went to the museum. With Layla, found the mirror in the ancient artifact room with all the gold and other things that they had seized from the humans of that island specifically, and were hoarding and, putting that in a quote-unquote museum to show off the winnings that they had after triumphing over the humans. And I was able to distract or force Brecht out of the room for a moment using the Ring of Grammarian. Afterwards, I acted quickly. I went to the mirror. I bypassed the wards on it, and I used the ring and said the quote that the ghost told me, my darling, I've come for you." And I released Queen Helena Martman, who was the last queen of the humans. She begged me to quickly save her son, and I did that. I pulled out her son, Landon Martman, who was the last prince of humanity.
And what made you think it was a good idea to do this?
After the atrocities that the humans had faced, the look at what's going on with Centralia. I thought the best thing that can do is have someone who can speak on to what actually happened in history, someone who was there, and to give humanity someone incorruptible. Because the mayor of Centralia is rampant with, or the politics of Centralia are rampant with corruption. I thought bringing back someone, some form of justice and mercy was needed.
I don't know about you, but all of my experience with all humans has been beating me when I'm homeless or stealing me family with slavery. So I'm sorry, but for me, it's hard for me to feel bad for them.
But Rayson, you haven't seen what's going. I mean, yes, I am. It is horrible what some of the humans did, and that is undeniable. It is horrible, and they should pay those humans who did it, but not all humans. I mean, if you've gone through the streets of Centralia, you would see there are children that are orphans, that are starving to death, that are being sold to slavery. There are humans, half elves, half orcs, that are just being abused.
That's
Why-
a tragedy.
Why not focus on helping the people that are from now that weren't a part of the war, and instead bringing the people that had the grudge during the war back?
Well, that was the thing. The prince is only about like 8, 10 years. And DM, is it 8? Is he 8? Does he look 8 years old or 10 years old?
He's he's like 7, 8, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Baby.
The prince is young. He has no. He was not responsible for the war. And then the queen, well, that was my quest. I accepted. That was the quest I signed up for, was deliver the ring to the person. And that was what I was intending to do. And then bringing her back here, I was hoping would help rally humans to actually relearn their culture and help people now. Unfortunately,
But what happened instead?
one thing led to another.
Judgment is sound.
I returned back to Centralia. We went to where the spirit was supposed to be, where originally we found him. We brought the mirror, and this probably was my great mistake, and to my shame, the ghost revealed himself to be the king, the last king of humanity, and apparently there were others that were trapped in the mirror, advisors, lords, other people that were supposed to be innocent. And I did not insight, or I did not do what my due diligence. I believed them. And so I let them release the last people that were inside of that mirror, which apparently included a lot of bad people and potentially a dark god.
A dark
A dark god?
you say?
There's
know
some
Ollie,
type
do
of
you
divine.
do you have
Oh, go ahead.
do you have an ability to show like minor illusion or prestidigitation or something like that to show who you saw?
Yep, I will. I have prestidigitation,
Okay.
so I will prestidigitate a small handheld illusion of that person. They actually looked a lot like Gwen.
Gwen, roll a history check.
Alright, dark god, this is interesting, to say the least.
I'm sending you a message.
Well, I don't know about the dark god, but we could probably deal with the others, right?
Yes, and that is probably what I'm going to have to do. But because of the.
Well, with the same advice, or with the same offer I offered Soltec, I'll offer to you. If you'd like me help, I'll help you when we're done with and graduate.
I appreciate
We'll clean
that.
up this mess.
It is a big mess. It is my responsibility that I need to right this wrong.
A dark god, though. Not sure so much if I've got the power to deal with that at this moment.
I don't know.
Now, do we know what kind of dark god?
Maybe we could sick
They're
Quinn's
not
mom
all
at
as
a...
scary as they may seem.
I don't know. All I know is that this person, he shows the image again, this person immediately seduced Queen Helena, or Helena perhaps was a secret lover of theirs, and he absorbed the essence, the ghost of the last king, and then immediately teleported away. And the last message they said, or Queen Helena said, is, thanks for everything. Take care of my son. He may be of use for me later." And she abandoned her son.
I see.
I have taken responsibility for him. He is not just now the last prince, he is the last king of humanity. And I
What
intend
do you
to.
mean by
You can
taking
call him because he's
responsibility?
upstairs in your room right now, Ollie.
Yeah. He'll introduce them, but right now he wants to make sure to get through the whole story.
Yep.
Landon's a good kid. He is innocent.
So
He
you're a
doesn't
god
deserve
now?
to die. He didn't deserve to die back then, and he doesn't deserve to die today.
But that means you're a dad.
I maybe.
Congratulations.
I am.
We got to get drinks after this.
I am
after you
his
tell me the
ward.
rest of the story, but
I have.
I've
accepted him as my ward. Like I'm not. I don't know. But point is, yes, I am potentially stepping into a father figure for him, but I don't know of how well I can raise him because I'm going to be traveling to across Heptagonia with whatever quests are given and hunting this dark god. And I may die in the pursuit of it all, but I just hope that I can give Landon and humanity a new start. And I don't know if that is possible anymore.
perhaps for a while the guild could take care of him. When he gets a little bit older and he gains a few muscles,
Yeah,
he could
Layla.
join
How
our,
old is this
our
child?
group.
He's 7, 8. Layla and Brecht have agreed to take care of him here in Centralia while I am away. Bless them for that.
Well, I began adventuring at a far younger age. I'm sure he could do just fine.
I'm not
You're
opposed
made
to
of
that,
metal,
but
you crazy toot.
I don't know what the laws are about humans. Like, because they are banished to this land. So I wouldn't mind bringing him along on an adventure as long as the adventure is, safe. But he can also use some stability and some good mother figures with Layla and Brecht being here in Centralia.
I see.
But congratulations on being a father. That might be even better than winning, or graduating, or passing.
Yes.
Well, you may not realize it, my friend, but it sounds like to me like you have done well.
Yes, I do feel.
It certainly seems like you followed your heart, even if your heart was a little bit misguided by going after the slavers. Dean looks at you.
Yes. Well, elves and humans have been holding a grudge for some time. They judge history through a very skewed perspective.
Raceland, roll a history check real quick.
Huge perspective. Let me think on that for a moment.
You would know that traditionally humans were also opposed against slavery. And it was and the group that took your family were mostly human, but not all human.
Okay.
There was other races there.
But if you want to help them, you can. It's not like everyone's a slaver, even if I feel like they are.
Yeah, we've seen
It's probably
plenty of
just me traumatized.
slavers. Lionkin, Apekin, the Devilkin.
We've seen so many slavers, I don't know what to do about it. I'm almost tempted to drop a fucking bomb myself on Centralia with all the slavers I've been finding.
Well,
I'm not
rest
meaning
easy,
that.
Raceland.
Don't call me a terrorist. And he looks at Bodega, and you don't be poisoning me. I'm just kidding.
Rest easy, Raceland. As you have offered to help me, I shall help you. Each slaver you find shall meet my blade.
But yes, that is Why,
I
technically I
respect that.
failed because I released a dark god and did not do my due diligence with the mirror. But I still was
Dark
able
God,
to pass.
Dark Schmod. We'll just kill him like we kill the rest of them.
Well,
That-
or he could be put to use.
You're talking about manipulating a Dark God. Not that I think I can kill a Dark God.
Manipulating or. Well, I've cooperated with several over the course of my quest.
We could
Lots of
always
bad.
kill the things that the Dark God likes, like those people that he put in that were evil. That we could do easy.
With all the talk of killing gods, Ollie will glance at Gwen and try to see what her reaction or thoughts are. What does Gwen look like?
Gwen is actually not listening to you guys at all.
I'm sorry.
Of course.
But it makes sense. It's perfect, so I accept it.
No, she's lost in her own head.
Just thinking about
And
mushrooms.
then I went to this, and then I went
Not
to that.
no
and
no. Roll an insight.
then... Who?
Anybody
I have a pass of
staring at
20.
Gwen?
I guess I'm staring Gwen. Boudica really wants to know. I
Nope.
pretty much want to
Roll
know.
it
Zoltek
anyways,
doesn't give
Ollie.
2 hoots. Zoltek's very focused
Wait,
on
what
what
was
he's
that?
doing.
Roll it anyways.
All right.
I've finally beaten negative modifier on insight.
I mean, in all fairness, Gwen is apparently doing a shit job.
A warlock having bad
she's
wisdom is pretty
she's just
classic.
like seriously staring,
Plus
mouth
sensation.
agape.
She's just staring at Ollie's hand.
The image has disappeared, but Ollie will look at her. Gwen, are you all right?
I mean, I'm all right.
But-
A copper for your thoughts.
No, I know that guy. Okay, I don't know that guy, but I know that guy.
Care to elaborate?
I think that's my uncle.
Your uncle.
Your uncle.
The dark god?
No, not on the god side. On the elf side.
Who are we talking about exactly?
The elf person that I showed.
Okay.
Gwendolyn.
Which is the dark god, right?
That's the Dark
Ollie
God
doesn't
right there.
know. Ollie would know he released 10 people, but he doesn't know which one is the dark god.
Oh.
This was just the elf that came
It's the
and
only non-human.
immediately said, and took the queen away
And absorbed the.
and absorbed the
Spirit of the-
king's soul.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does Ollie know if anyone else was non-human who he released?
Nope.
He did not see them. They all came out as bursts of light.
Yep.
And they were the same color of light. They weren't like some were more tainted than others or whatever.
They were actually all dark streaks of light. They were all like black light.
Okay.
So this uncle of yours, Gwen, were you as close with him as you are with the godly side of your family?
He and my father died before I was born.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Apparently not.
Well, he
He's
died,
still
you
alive.
say. How did he die? I didn't even know it was possible.
But no, he's not a god. He's on the elf side. Ugh. You know elves can die, right? She's like very worried about Raceland now. You're
having a
not
mental
immortal,
fucking
you know that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like a doofus. I thought you were talking about your god side. I have to apologize. I know that elves can die. I've watched it. I buried them myself.
No, my dad died in the spell.
Which spell?
The spell.
The
The
spell.
spell that
The
destroyed
spell.
an arm of Heptagonia. The spell that ended the war against the humans.
Well, this was third era. Were you not born in the second, Gwen?
Did he have to sacrifice his life for it? I'm only curious because I'm wondering how the weave worked for that. I'm sorry if
Apparently it
that's
was-
insensitive.
He didn't cast the spell, but it killed thousands and thousands of people.
And it killed him.
Yeah.
Why did it kill him? Was it taking his life, or was he a part of the area that it was happening?
He was a king, a general in the Elven army.
I spent my whole life in a jungle with a tiny little bit of people. I don't know anything about any of this. I've studied, but I study magic and I study scouting. Sorry.
It's a rather lengthy bit of history. Perhaps one day I can sit down and teach you.
And always remember, history is written by the victors. A lot of history has been lost, and a lot of history has been rewritten.
Aye,
Very
and
true.
that reminds me. This is your story, Ellie. Why don't you continue with it?
Well, that's pretty much it. Uh, yeah, I took care. I am now taking care of the boy, and
He's about the same age as Luca. If you want to, I'm sure Luca's mom would take him in too.
Does he like to kill deer? I'd help him shoot the deer. I don't know much more I can do for you, other than kill things.
other than
Sorry. I
Just
want
take
to
him
help
hunting.
you, Ali.
It-
I'm looking to help you.
and I appreciate that. Believe me,
Perhaps
I
I could take him out for a drink or two
do.
in like a
No,
decade.
Nope.
no.
After this quest, I'm apparently better with kids than I thought originally. Perhaps I can help with teaching blood magic or something.
Maybe I could teach him how to slit throats well. I'm pretty good with the dagger.
Again, innocent child. Let's try to keep it that way for now, and teach him education, mathematics,
For
literature.
instance, like scratching his
Like
head.
like like I
You will
said,
need to
I,
learn
I
What
think
the
I
hell
think
is mathematics, anyways?
And he will need to
Go
learn
ahead,
how to
Gwen.
fight
What were you
someday.
saying?
never mind.
With that said, that is my tale.
It's a grand tale indeed, my friend.
You guys hear somebody coming down the stairs from upstairs, and you just see a head poke out. Go, can I come say hi now?
Yes, come down, my boy. Everyone, this is Landon Mortman. And Ollie kind of like stands next to him and puts his hand on his shoulder. Landon, these are my friends. Introducing them counterclockwise. This is Bodica, my sister. Saltek. Raceland, sorry, Roxandra. Raceland.
Raisin nuts.
Saltek, and then Gwen.
Did
Gwen,
you forget my name?
Sorry, I'm looking at different things.
Gwen, you
Raisin
notice
like uses minor
Waffles
illusion.
immediately runs around you and runs up to him, and just
What?
looks at him and just licks his face.
And that's Waffles, and that's Marshmallow.
Does Mara join that, or does
Also Mara.
I like beckon that Mara can? If Mara
Yeah,
wants
well,
to.
as soon as Mara realized it was okay to lick the kid's face, Mara also runs over and licks the kid's face.
I mean,
all
Mara's
the-
pretty
all
big
three
now,
Maras.
right? Like,
Yeah, Mara's like almost a full size.
so Mara is way bigger than.
So Mara is like medium, almost large.
So-
Or is
Yeah.
large. Okay.
It's so large. It's a Cerberus.
You're a future king. I had no idea I was in the presence of royalty. He will bow and say, "Pleased to meet your acquaintance, Your Excellency."
He just looks at you and goes, "Hi, you're
Saltek. Yep.
Saltek." Okay.
Indeed.
I'll write their names down so that way you can also look back at it.
Okay.
Raisin goes up, smiles at him, and then like does a sleight of hand where he like puts his hand behind the kid's ear and pulls out a coin, and then like flips the coin through his fingers, and when it hits his pinky, flips it up in the air so it like lands in his hand.
Nice. He looks at you and goes, "Oh, are you a wizard?"
I'd like to think I am. I'm doing my best.
Oh. Are you good? Good. Do you use magic for good or bad?
Well, I'd like to use it for knowledge, to be totally honest with you.
Okay.
Is he a wizard, or do you just have rather large ears? And he'll do the same coin trick, but he'll summon like his largest packed weapon and just make it look like he's pulling it out from behind his ear.
No, you're a fucking wizard. I'm
Language,
doing my best.
Raceland, we're with the child. Language, please.
I'm doing me darndest. But I'll tell you what. Saltek is better. Did you see that thing that just came out of your ear? It would have exploded your brain.
He looks and he goes, I think I should probably bathe better next time then.
Aye, do your best at everything you do, including bathing.
Okay.
I think Luca's gonna come over in a little while if you want a kid to play with.
Okay.
Great. So that, and I'm assuming that Landon's now playing. We're petting the waffles
Yeah,
and
Landon Waffles
Mara.
kind of pulls Landon over so they go back over into the living room area and play.
Yeah.
Just please stay out of my library. Many of the items are cursed.
I'm sorry.
So there you go, Roxandra. You've heard the tale of all five of us.
Saltek, that was funny.
Well, it seems like you had a good adventure. Oh, Ollie, there's a letter for you that came a little while ago. Sorry.
Ollie will go check the letter out.
It is a summons to go see the headmaster tomorrow.
Just himself?
Yes.
It's foreboding.
I mean, I do have a question about like, why give us a pass-fail grade if you still pass by failing?
Indeed.
Well, he survived, didn't he? He just screwed up a little bit.
Yeah.
I assume it has to also do with like your scores in classes and everything.
No, it has, Roxander Kitson, no, it has to do with why you failed. Your
Who is your
failed.
proctor?
Go ahead. We'll get to that in a second, Saltek. Your pass fail is you can still pass and graduate, but not succeed on your quest. So in this case, he completed his quest, the main components of his quest. However, in doing so, he unwittingly and unintentionally did something bad, which would, in normal guild standards, would be a fail for a quest, which means you wouldn't get paid. But in this case, it was shown as a learning experience. And since it was not an intention and he completed the main objective, he was still allowed to graduate.
So you're saying he was confident. He was just unwise. This is ironic.
But then why
Like
label
Eric.
it as pass and fail? It's very confusing.
He failed the quest, but he passed the class. Does that make sense?
Not really.
To me,
Sure.
it makes sense.
It's just like how you do, Gwen, when you accidentally do something bad, but it works out in the end.
How many
Same
times have you dropped swords on our faces?
Yeah,
Here you
no,
are
I mean,
telling me.
I understand the concept of it, but I just think that they should label it better. Like it shouldn't be labeled as fail when it's not failing.
But would you feel as stressed as you did if you didn't feel like it was pass or fail?
I wasn't stressed. Were you stressed?
Well, I guess you can't be stressed about nothing.
Then again,
You're like
have
a
we ever
goddess,
seen
after
Gwen
all.
you stressed?
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like I might have seen it once, but only
She
once.
sweat syrup.
Oh, it
Aye. That was weird. It's a strange moment for me.
Oh, you should smell my farts.
I don't
No.
want to.
No, thank you.
And I don't want you to make me.
Disgusting.
You already made me taste your kiss, and that was strange enough for me. A fart
Taste
is
your
even
kiss.
weirder.
Apparently tastes like thistle milk.
And I'm sorry, Ali, for not being strange about your thing, but it's not a big deal. We'll just kill the fuckers that We'll just kill the bad people that we can, and the people that we can't kill, like gods. Look, it worked out. Gwen knows so many gods. If they all get together, they can deal with the scary thing.
All right. For time purposes, we're gonna say you guys continue your conversation, but let's take a quick break. Be back in 10 minutes, and then Ollie, you're gonna have your meeting, and then we will move on to graduation.
Okie doke.
All right. See you guys in 10. Yep.
Well, nice job, guys. All of those were fun to listen to.
Yeah, they were cool quests.
Yeah, it was a lot of
I'm
fun.
kind of glad mine was through text based in hindsight. Yeah, I almost would like it better than live, but it's not the same as like talking to all you guys and stuff. And then it's like, well, what would we be streaming?
I like the voice acting and the like.
Yeah,
I do like both. I'm an English major with a creative writing concentration. Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, I really like doing the RP, but
yeah, I'm sure that falls in pretty naturally. Hmm.
right. And we're no
Yeah.
longer in the academy, so our goals aren't quite the same as before. Before it was very like defined, like you have to do this to pass this. But now
Yeah.
it's just us together deciding what to do. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot more like our summer breaks, which I honestly thought were like my favorite part of the academy years, just being sort of like, freelance, just being like a true adventurer, just finding wherever the path takes you.
I've liked the whole thing. It's been really fun, like thinking about how to increase the stats, and it's been very
Yeah.
fun doing all the
Finals
different
were
projects.
a lot of fun.
It's been a good time.
And it's only the beginning.
I know that's what's weird to think about. I wonder how long Rizson will have before he will randomly die for some crazy thing I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
I'm glad he survived the academy, though. I wasn't sure it would. He's finally at like a 10 charisma, so he can like talk now.
Yeah, I finally got my wisdom to a 10.
Same for my strength.
Nice.
Yeah.
We all have that one shitty score that we're like, yeah, that score is now average.
It's not a burden anymore.
Right, exactly. I
know.
felt like
That's literally what I just
that's
said. Now we're
exactly, yeah.
average.
No, exactly. No, my charisma, like I don't have to be charismatic, but I can talk at least, right? Like at a 10, I can be like normal. When I was a 6, I didn't get to talk a lot.
Yeah.
Which is also funny, but it kind of happened.
Yeah,
The
I'm just
DM
glad
was
I was
like,
able
this
to.
will go away eventually. It didn't go away. I'll make it a long distance relationship and he'll end it. It doesn't end it. I'm going to get rid of the relationship. Goodbye, Jennifer.
Glad I was able to finally cap out my charisma above 20. Gosh, during the middle few years, it was getting pretty iffy with those rolls I was getting. Constantly. I rolled like a nat 1 on charisma, I think 2 or 3 different semesters.
Every one of my rolls on charisma has been bad, and I kind of appreciate it. Like, the people who are bad at it are bad at it, so.
Yeah.
The same with my strength. Like I kept rolling like 1, 3, but also I was like, I'm not wasting my reroll on that. I don't care.
God, yeah, strength is the one stat I'm like, I do not care about that for Saltec. I just needed it high enough to like multi-class into fighter, but it is at an 18 now.
Wow.
Like,
So
I've
now it's
nailed
like
it
you
every
can use
time.
two-handed weapons now and actually be effective.
I always could technically.
I think it's funny that my intelligence is a 19 because I have the headband of intelligence.
Yeah.
But then my wisdom is 22 now because of the nat 20s.
All right.
Yeah.
Are we ready to pick back up?
Yeah, I am.
Let me know when we're live. All right. So welcome back, everybody. Let's go ahead and jump back in. So, Ollie, the next morning, you by yourself are invited to the headmaster's office for a meeting.
You know her name, right? Like you're the only one.
Yeah, I'm the only one who knows her name.
No one else managed to do that in all 4 years. Good job.
Headmistress?
Welcome, Ali. Take a seat. We're just waiting for one other person.
Ollie will take a seat.
They just like staring at each other right now.
Awkward.
The headmistress doesn't like to talk.
She just sits. It's literally only a minute, and just when you're about to say something awkward, there's a knock and somebody else enters. Hello. You must be Ali.
Ollie
got
immediately
fucking
tenses
fire.
up, seeing the guild master.
I'm Holden Shade, the head of the guilds. All the guilds.
Hello there. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Yes. I normally don't see people till graduation, but I made a special trip over here for you. The headmistress goes, Ali, we were reading the report of your quest, and we just had a couple questions to see if you could help us fill in some gaps.
Of course.
Yes, this mirror that you retrieved and released things from, what can you tell me about the mirror?
Well, it was an ancient human artifact, third era at least. It was originally part of the humans' treasury. It held Helena and Landon and other spirits within it. And Ollie will create with prestidigitation, a minor illusion of the mirror. I believe they are called mirrors of soul trapping.
Prison mirrors, yes. Rare artifacts. Not used much anymore. Used to be used a lot in the human eras. In the early eras before that. Go on.
So yes, that was the, and Ollie will try to describe the mirror as much as possible for it, but.
And you said this was the one in Meerman or Marman?
Yeah, the island originally was called Martman, but now it's Mantrol. It is ruled by the Orcakin.
Fucking hate them. All right, so they've had this mirror. And they're too stupid to figure out what it was. You released the king and queen, or the queen and the kid, and then why did you release everybody else?
I thought there were other trapped innocents within it. I did not do my due diligence and check who the inhabitants were. And so when they pleaded with me to release the innocent people in there, I felt that they were being genuine. Or at least Helena. It was Helena, not... Landon had no idea about what was going on.
But the kid is the one who did it, right?
Correct. He was the only one who could release it. Yes.
In your report, it describes an elf of some sort coming out of the mirror first, and then the rest of the lights. Is this correct?
That is correct. I've come to find out now that it is an elf named Gwendolyn. He
The Dark Sun King.
the-
Lovely.
the Dark Sun King.
Yeah, he's one of the kings of the Third Era.
Yes.
He was known as the Dark Sun King. He was supposedly sealed away by some heroes back then. That makes me wonder what else was in there at Mir. But he would have also been the most recent. I can research from there and figure out. We can have the Vaults and the Legends Guild figure out who else might have been trapped in there. We do know one other creature has been confirmed from that time, or before that time that came out, and that's the Black Phoenix.
The Black Phoenix.
Yeah. It was a phoenix that somebody corrupted on one of its rebirths. It was lit instead of with a normal flame, it was lit with a magic black flame. And when it was reborn as a black bird. That actually now causes evil lightning storms wherever it flies. But it can still breathe fire. It's worse than any dragon out there.
Got it.
Luckily, it hasn't been done too much terror. It's just been nesting in the mountains, but probably recovering in strength.
Which
We are
mountains
sending-
in?
We are sending teams to go worry about it. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
But those two pieces should give us a timeline to be able to track backwards what else may have been trapped in there. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Of course. And I think I just want to apologize again for my.
It's not your fault, child. You did what you were supposed to do. You followed the quest. You freed the innocent people. They weren't innocent. That's not your fault. You were tricked. Happens to the best of us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And with that, he leaves. The headmistress just looks at you and goes, "You are still approved to graduate. And I do encourage that after you complete the ceremony ritual, that you find a group that you enjoy and help with the research and potentially capture of the creatures that were released. But nobody's holding this against you."
Wink, nudge, nudge.
I appreciate that. I think I have a group that I want to work with if they will also be inclined to follow this trail.
Wink, wink, nudge.
Good. Your team has done exceptionally well here, and we are proud of all of you graduating. So we will see you in a couple weeks for the final ceremony. You are dismissed.
Thank you, headmistress. He'll bow and head out.
All right. We're going to pop back over here for a second. So, Roxanne just sits you all down and goes, "Okay, you guys have 2 weeks before graduation. We're going to assume finals are over at this point. Good job, everybody, on your final scores.
Well, thank you.
So, here's what's going to happen. You got 2 weeks to pack. All of the stuff in your rooms will be compressed and held, anything that's left in there. When you moved in, you remember how you had those storage cubes where you put all your stuff?
Well,
Yeah.
my deer pelts. Yeah.
Yes. After this graduation ceremony, you will immediately go to your primary guild. Part of the tradition of graduating and arriving as a new member of the guild is to come with just the barest of essentials. So all of your equipment will be put in one of those transfer cubes and will be sent behind you. but you will arrive in just plain clothes and with a single dagger. You are not allowed to take any other equipment, items, or weapons with you. Saltek, the one in your hand, is an exception. Raceland, the headband on your head that is cursed onto you, is also exempt.
Mm.
Out of
Everything
respect
else,
for tradition, we can ensure that it's a dagger.
yes. Anything else must be removed and placed in those transport cubes.
So
They
are we
will-
going in naked?
No, you wear clothes and take a dagger. That's it. No weapons, no armor, no magic items, not even gold. Leave everything else behind.
It's a shame I can't take some of my findings. I would have thought that would have been customary for the History Guild, but I suppose they can wait.
It's tradition that you walk in as a new member in just as you are. All of your stuff arrives like an hour later after you get welcomed. Each of
see.
the guilds has their own initiation ceremony that takes place in that first hour, and then you get all your stuff back. It's just part of the ceremony.
I don't have a dagger.
Rayson tosses you one of his like 30 daggers.
Do we have to take a dagger? I don't want a dagger.
You should take a dagger. It's just part of the ceremony look.
Rayson rolls his eyes and flicks another dagger at Gwen.
Could put it in a stone.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to bring a stone.
You
If
don't
Rayson-
need to. You just summon one.
Yeah, right.
So after you pack all your stuff, also your pets or companions that are not magic familiars will also be sent along with the rest of your things.
Whoa, Mara's getting shipped?
No, she's coming through the teleportation circle. I will be delivering all of your pets personally since they know me. It's part of the tradition that you walk in as you are.
Alright, sounds good. You just got to understand, I'm a little bit protective of Mara.
Yes. That is why I am taking care of the pets for Orc House. I will
Many
make sure
thanks,
they are all
yeah.
delivered. Boudica, your cart will also be delivered as well.
Okay.
Once you're there, you will all be allowed to stay in dorms at your guild house if you would like. Or if you guys want to meet back up right away, that's up to you. Typically, it'd be like the next day because you'll have some ceremonial stuff you'll do that day after you get all your stuff back. Do you have any questions on this?
Yes. Is teleportation to any of the guild headquarters, is that welcome for us now, or is it specific to our guild? How does this work?
So now that you are graduating, you will be allowed to teleport to your guild for free. Other guild transport will be required to pay.
I see. Well, in that case, I actually have a gift from my quest that I would like to share with each of you. And Saltak will pass each person one of his gold pass round trip guild tickets that Davey gave him.
What does this do exactly? As he's like looking at the gold ticket.
A free trip, round trip to any guild teleportation circle for any guild headquarters.
You're telling me I could come close to Mara and see the place and then come right back?
If you wish. I'm not sure what the rules are and how long you would be welcome, depending on the guild, but Davey gave them to me, the manager of the teleporter here.
Nice. Thanks, Saltek.
Well, what a wonderful
course.
gift. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Saltek.
All right. So you guys spend the next 2 weeks packing and getting ready. This is where I will say if you're selling any stuff, you can sell it off. Worry about doing that later. Put it in the group fund, whatnot.
Okay.
You guys can do that afterwards. But finally, the time comes, and you guys meet back in the auditorium with the other graduating members.
Could I ask a question about? So during that time, Rayson would look for more spells. Is that something I should put in the RP chat as well?
Where are you looking for them?
In the guild library would be like the first spot they would go, and we'd talk to him and find out if there were any level 1 spells that were available that he could research or study as a side project.
I
And
would
if
say
he
you
failed
could
to
pick
do
up.
that,
I would say you
sorry.
could pick up one more spell. Beyond that, you wouldn't have time because you would be getting everything ready to go,
Okay, sounds good.
and you can figure out what that is. I don't care.
Okay.
That was one other thing. If you have a spell book, you are allowed to take your spell book as well as the dagger
Oh, thank goodness.
Okay.
for magic users. That's
I was gonna ask about like a focus, but then I
Yeah.
didn't. I was just
Focus,
like, oh, I guess I'll be magicless.
you can
Right.
take your focus, or and your spell book and a dagger. That is it. For the casters can take their focus and their spell book. So sorry about that. I forgot about that.
Gotcha.
Basically, they want you to be like as if you were a brand new adventurer with nothing starting out.
Bare bones.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Graduation day. You guys all meet in the ceremony or in the auditorium. You look around and you see there are only 13 of you there.
Oh boy,
Hell yeah, Axix made it all the way, baby.
the twins made it.
Um,
Hey, Corinthian Mornica.
And our
Good job,
favorite
guys.
rogue too.
The paladins got wiped out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cal made it.
And Micah, apparently.
Got to have a second chance at wooing you.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say Micah kind of stays away from you guys.
Oh, really?
alright.
Oh, cool. Kate's alive.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that.
Not
Or
all of them
see them.
died, but not all of them like passed their quests enough to pass graduation.
Oh, okay,
Mm.
cool. So not everybody's dead.
Right. Some people like went on their quest and just didn't come back because they didn't finish, so they like quit in shame.
Yeah.
Ollie's like that was an option. All right. Headmistress steps forward. Welcome, everybody. I'm Headmistress. Roll a wisdom save.
Oh, she says that very well.
Everybody gets a. I'm going to give you advantage because it's the final one. Right.
Nope. I was hoping, but nope. Boudica
I'm gonna
maybe.
use my inspiration on that one.
Okay.
I will too for the funsies of it.
All right. Boudica and Saltek and Gwen, you are so close, but not
Oh.
quite.
Even with my 24?
No, Boudica and Saltek, you guys get them. Gwen, you are
Oh.
close. You learned the name. And I'm just going to say it so everybody knows it. It's Amelia.
Mm.
Amelia, what a beautiful. What was that name again?
Emilia.
I don't remember, but I do
Oh.
remember that she is a wonderful leader. I'll tell you that much.
Indeed.
Welcome,
She certainly is the headmistress.
Welcome everybody to our graduation ceremony. Thank you for attending. Friends and family, thank you for attending. You guys look up on the upper level and you see a lot of people you know. Some past members, your families are there. For the twins and Gwen, your mom is up there. I don't have pictures for everybody. That requires effort. But there's a lot of people up there. Layla's in the stands, and so is with Landon. You You guys just look around and you hear cheering and applause, and Amelia waits and she goes, "Today, the 13 of you, one of our largest classes ever, are graduating and will be joining the guild as full guild members. Congratulations on all of your achievements that you have done and all the achievements you will do. We, as a faculty, appreciate everything you have done for the guild and continued to build such a strong name. We look forward to seeing where your adventures take place, and we will miss having your joyous smiles around us." And
Do we-
with
do we
that,
clap?
we will call the names of the graduates. We'll start with House Pegasus, Calcidius.
Ollie
he
will
steps
clap
forward.
for Calcidius.
So will Saltek.
Bodo could be like, yeah, go Cal.
Raceland will like golf clap and nod at him.
Whatever
Golf
her
clap.
name was.
Thought that was a teacher.
No, that's his daughter.
Oh.
Yeah, 'cause
That's the teacher,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and that's his daughter.
Wait,
Valerie.
of the skeleton man?
No,
No,
the
the teacher's.
person next to him is the teacher's kid.
Okay. Okay, I see. That makes
Micah.
a lot more sense.
From House Dragon.
Dragonkin Hall.
Cool. Oh, sorry. Let's pop Micah up so we can see Micah. This guy,
Axic.
This guy.
his twin sister.
Naki.
Yep. Mornica.
Triceratops killers.
Bunch of no good
Kate.
Triceratops killers.
Kate. Just Kate.
And
Corinthia.
Corinthia.
She has nice lipstick. I appreciate her. She reminds me of.
Go ahead.
No, it is America.
And finally, from Orc House, Braceland.
I'm a little
Bodica.
bit nervous, but I'm going up.
Ali. Saltek.
He'll bow.
And Gwen. Congratulations to all of you once again, and good luck on your adventures out there.
And then I start clapping.
Did it, guys.
We're
We made it.
graduating.
We did.
We're graduates.
How is everybody feeling? What emotions would your characters be having? We'll start with Gwen because you're the top on my screen.
I don't know. Just yay, we graduated.
Ali.
Humbled, happy, and just eager. Eager that this is the beginning of the new story.
Saltek.
Proud, excited, and thankful for his party and his patrons, but most of all, just in shock, basically, at the fact that he did all this in 4 years, and that's the blink of an eye for an immortal.
Bodica.
She definitely wants to party after all the stressful shit that everybody's
Or
gone through.
drugs.
I mean, Gwen has a party set up.
Girls' night.
We could even invite the boys this time, because it's graduation.
Right.
And Raceland.
I finally created the first step to fulfilling my promise. Couldn't feel more lighter than I feel now if it weren't for all the other steps to save me family and answer me prayers. I'll have to stay focused. I'll have to be true. But I will succeed.
Awesome. As the cheering dies down, the headmistress says, "Now they will take the journey to their new guild homes, or their guild halls." Actually, she doesn't say that. Hold on. The head guild guy comes out. He goes, "Congratulations to another class. Now you will head out to your new guild halls. I'm going to have you guys step through one house at a time." And you see him flick his wrist, and this turns into a giant magic circle. And you will be sent to your new guild hall. As is tradition, you will go as the humblest form of adventurer with just clothes on your back, a dagger, and your spellbook if you're a caster.
I've got me spellbook clutched to me chest, and me dagger held confidently.
House Pegasus, you will go first. They walk forward, seemingly in unison. They stand there. The magic flares. And then they're poof, they're gone. You see him flick his hand again, and the circle reactivates. House Dragonkin. They also walk around, climb up there, and poof. They take off. And finally,
One.
Orc House.
Does anyone know where the guild halls are?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe mine is in Munami. There is the lore guild in New Golder, I believe. I'd have to check.
It wasn't on the list.
What guild are you in?
The lore guild or
Era.
the legends, yeah. But it doesn't say on that on the thing about guilds where it is.
They probably don't have just one headquarters, but
Same with mine.
I'm just like, I don't know where I'm going. Bye, guys.
Look at the regions. It tells you which guild is there.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Sages
okay.
Society is going to the desert.
yeah.
I was looking under guilds, and so you know.
That makes sense. I should have put them there, but that's fine. All right, you guys all step in the circle, waiting for the magic to take place, and I would like everybody to roll a perception check. All right. All of you but Saltek. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a trend.
As you're standing there, Ali, you notice it first. You look at this magic circle, studying it because it's arcane. And you're looking at the differences as to how they're mass sending people through the circle to different places at once. And you notice something out of place. Surrounding the circle are little red stones embedded into this platform that you've never noticed before. As the magic flares for the third time, you see the stones start to glow.
Is Ollie able to do anything about it?
No. And then there's an explosion.
Oh no.
And Boudica,
Yeah.
you picked to be the representative for the team, right?
Oh no. Yep.
I would like you to roll a d8.
Disorders bombs.
That's ironic. You see the explosion go off, and there is a flash of light. And all of you try to stop, see what happened. You all move to stop, but the magic flares before you can move. We're going back here for a minute. All of you have a chance to look up as you do and see each other's faces, see those behind you. And then after the flash of light, it all goes dark for all of you. And then you open your eyes and look around. And you're not in the guild hall anymore.
What are we seeing?
I'll show you just a second. I'm waiting for it to load.
Are we all together? So,
Hold on. Okay. As you all open your eyes, you hear the sound of waves crashing around you.
Hey guys, we're on the ocean.
And you are all on this beach. You look around, you see each other in various states of being thrown against the beach in various places. And you realize quickly from the terrain that you are not in Centralia anymore. You are in the Badlands again, but near the water this time. Anybody who wants can make a survival check to see if they can try to pinpoint their location a little bit more.
Would keen mind help much?
No, because you have not been here before.
That's fair.
wow.
I rolled bad.
Bad roll.
Yes, you are in Ruhrmann. Raceland, you're the only one, and it makes sense.
I got 18 plus 3.
Okay, Boudica, you also. Rose, are you okay over there? Cats are being weird. Raceland, you realize you're based on where the sun is and the water and the land. I'm gonna pop that world map back up. You figure you're about right here, right on the tip.
I'm having the feeling we're back in the desert, but at the very, very might far point.
Badlands.
Don't recognize where we are.
The same place we did with the wisdom and where I hunted the crab.
Ali and Boudica, I want you to make a perception check. Boudica, you notice it first. One interesting thing about your homeland, Halo, is that you can see it from anywhere in Heptagonia. That's part of its thing, is it's always visible in the sky.
We can't see anymore.
When you look Boudica, it's not there. You look around and you don't see it. You're trying to use it as a point of reference for where you are, and it's not in the sky.
The hell does that mean?
No more
Where
Heptagonia.
are we?
Celtic, I'm giving you advantage on this. Make a perception check because you have keen mind.
Okay.
When you left, or when you were at the guild, it was about noon that you were getting into the teleportation circle.
Mm-hmm.
It's now about 6 o'clock at night.
Oh.
But additionally, something else feels weird. Your internal clock, your internal sense of time is moving very quickly. And as you try to focus on it, you feel like something's broken with it. Because it says it's been 10 years
Oh.
What?
since the day you graduated.
Mom probably tried to
This-
save us.
This couldn't have. You may be right. Too much time has passed. This has been a. It feels as if it's been a decade since
Wait,
graduation.
what? A decade?
Decade.
Jen's gonna be so mad at me. I'll have to write a bunch of
My
letters.
internal clock does not lie, my friend.
How? How is that possible?
Like I
don't know.
just said. I mean, Mom was there. If she tried to save us, she can move us through time or through space.
If that's the case, then why are we here? I mean, why 10 years?
It could have been simply the safest option. She may have not had the time to choose. to
Okay.
think.
I
All
can
of you
cast-
start to put together as you reach for things. You don't have any equipment. You don't have any food. You don't have any water. You literally just have a dagger in your spellbooks and clothes. No armor.
Oh no,
No
Mara!
gold.
Shit.
No pets. No friends. No way to contact anybody.
If we have sending, are we able to use it?
We can get to that when we come back from the break. Because I think that's a good spot for us to end tonight. You are at the beach at the tip of the Badlands. You are 10 years in the future. You have no equipment.
And
Welcome
technically we
to
can't cast
the post-tutorial part of the gritty survival game.
because we don't have any copper wire.
So we will pick up in a couple weeks after baby's born.
Damn you.
And we'll see. The real adventures are about to start. I told you guys all to save your character sheets. Clone them. Delete everything on them except for close dagger and your focus and your spellbook if you have one. Everything else needs to come off of them.
Oh boy.
With the two exceptions of the things I said, Saltek, your headband can stay because that's implanted in you. Or Saltek, your weapon, your pack weapon stays. Bracelet, your headband stays. Everything else needs to come off all your characters.
Okay.
And that's where we'll pick up when we come back.
Damn.
Cool. Thanks for the good session, sir.
Yeah, that was a cliffhanger right there.
10 years.
And Halo's missing.
10 years, Halo's gone. You do not see Halo in the sky.
That's just great. Our homeland is dead, Ollie.
Yeah, right? Like,
Oh shit.
why our homeland?
Probably killed by the dark god you released.
Yeah, thanks for
Oh,
that, Glenn.
no.
That's fucked up.
Oh,
And
wow.
all your commentary. Thank you for that.
It's your fault your homeland's dead. Gee, like I don't feel bad enough. Thanks.
Damn, dude.
All right. Ollie, let's go ahead and cut the stream.
And 1 sec. Stop stream.